From a scary stalker to an even scarier escape. These are 3 terrifying stories people swear are true. Number 3. The Stalker. This story comes from Reddit user Cutlet. I was taking my dog for a walk one evening in a fairly isolated area. There were no streetlights and we were at the end of the road. We had walked down this road many times before and always enjoyed it. It was nice and peaceful. On this particular night, there was a full moon, which made the walk even more pleasant. We were about halfway down the road when I heard footsteps behind us. I assumed that it was another couple walking their dog. So, I didn't pay too much attention to it. But then I started to hear heavy breathing. Now I live in a small town where everyone knows each other. And we often wave to passing motorists and chat with people when we pass them on the road. When the breathing got closer and closer and I still hadn't seen anyone, I thought it was strange. When the person or persons finally came into view, I nearly screamed. It was a man and he was running towards me with a crazed look on his face. I pulled my dog close and tried to ignore him, hoping that he would just go past me. I don't know what I was hoping to achieve with this plan because he was clearly unhinged, but it seemed like the best option at the time. But instead of running past me, he stopped right in front of me and started screaming at the top of his lungs, swearing and making threats. I couldn't understand what he was saying because he had such a thick accent, and I was frozen with fear. My mind went into overdrive thinking of all sorts of horrific scenarios and images from horror movies started flashing through my head. He kept coming closer and closer and I backed away until I hit the wall of the houses. I was trapped. I grabbed my dog and ran down the road. I looked over my shoulder and he was gone. Maybe I imagined the whole thing. I'll never know. But when I turned back around, I saw a dark figure standing at the end of the road where I had originally seen the man. It was too dark to see any details, but I could have sworn it was the same man. I picked up my pace, trying to convince myself that nothing had actually happened and that it was safe to continue walking my dog. I reached the end of the road where there was a T intersection. I looked around frantically, half expecting to see him pop out from behind one of the cars parked along the road. Then I continued on my way. Eventually, once I was safely home, I told my husband what had happened. He said that I should have called the police, but I couldn't even tell him what the guy looked like. All I knew is that he had brown hair and was wearing a white shirt. My husband said that it was probably just some drunk idiot and that I shouldn't worry about it. I called the police anyway, just in case. They said that they would send someone out to check the area, but I doubted that they would find anything. And they didn't call me back. I never saw the man again, but I still walk my dog. And every time I go down that road, I can't help but glance over my shoulder. I will never get over this. I hope this person never targets anyone else. Number 2. Wrong place at the wrong time. This story comes from Reddit user .clock. I used to work security at a large shopping mall in Washington state. One of my usual posts was near the bottom floor food court. The mall was enormous. It was several stories high and took up a huge space. At certain times of the day, there would be thousands of people there. There was also a very large movie theater complex with stadium seating. It wasn't uncommon to hear screams from horror movies echoing through the mall. That's why I was extremely surprised at 2 a.m. when I heard screams coming from inside the theater. I immediately went to investigate and discovered the source of the commotion. Someone was banging on the door and screaming for help. I ran to the other side of the room to try to find another entrance, but it was locked up tight. As I tried to find a way in, I heard a girl's voice respond. She sounded hysterical. She said, "Help me, please help me." I found a maintenance closet with an open door and slipped inside. It led to a crawl space directly under the theater. I crawled as fast as I could to the far side of the room where I could hear the commotion, only to find a metal door blocking my path. I pushed it open and emerged into the middle of a huge empty room with rows and rows of closed seats in front of me. The theater was completely empty. I could hear the screams outside getting louder, so I quickly exited and went to check the rest of the mall. Everything was normal. All of the stores were closed and all of the lights were off. To this day, I wonder who was trapped in that theater. Number 1. Busted Out. This story comes from Reddit user Shibuya. My brother-in-law was working as a removal man several years ago. They turned up at this house in Leeds to collect a large wardrobe. The woman who lived there was really nervous. She kept saying she hoped they would need to come back because her ex-husband was in prison and she was scared he'd be released early and she'd be forced to move out. Her ex-husband was serving time for assault and threatening to kill her. The job went smoothly and they were ready to load the wardrobe onto the van. But the lady was still hanging around and keeping them from leaving. My brother-in-law politely asked her to stay away because if they needed to use the straps to secure the wardrobe, they'd need some room. She agreed and went back inside the house. While they were strapping the wardrobe in, they heard loud banging on the back door. The lady came flying out, fumbling with her keys. She opened the door just as a man matching the description of her ex-husband barged through it and slammed it shut behind him. She screamed and tried to get back inside. The removal men looked at each other and then at the wardrobe which blocked the door. My brother-in-law ducked down beside it while his partner went to check out the situation. He peered out the window and saw the lady's ex-husband punching the wardrobe with the intention of smashing it in. My brother-in-law decided that they had two choices. Either let the guy break the wardrobe and deal with the angry woman afterward, or try to stop him. Both outcomes didn't seem good, but they chose to try to stop him. His partner found a crowbar in the van and handed it to him. Just as the ex-husband smashed through the wardrobe, my brother-in-law stuck the crowbar out and hit the guy squarely in the chest. He flew back a few feet and crashed to the ground. My brother-in-law and his partner both froze, staring down at the body. The lady came out of the house and screamed at them, "You killed him." They quickly explained that they only meant to scare him off. The lady seemed to calm down after hearing this. She apologized profusely for the trouble and insisted on paying them extra to take the damaged wardrobe. They agreed. Then the woman called the police and told them a guy had broken into her house and that two heroes had stopped him. The police arrived soon after and arrested the ex-husband. Turns out he had been released early due to overcrowding in the prison system and went straight to his ex-wife's house looking for revenge. My brother-in-law and his partner were given commendations for their actions, but to this day, my brother-in-law has nightmares about the look on the ex-husband's face when he realized that he was going to jail again. That was the end of part 6 of Scary Stories. And if you want to hear more terrifying tales, then check out part 7 right now.